Everyone's heard of Toyota reliability, dependability, longevity, and I'm going to tell you, it's a real thing. It really is. It's the #1 reason why I bought this 4Runner over some other brand that I was looking at back in 2003. But I can also tell you that after 130,000 miles, 18 years, I can also offer you a uniquely different perspective as to why this thing has been disappointing, utterly frustrating, and it's the reason why I'm throwing in the towel. I am done. I've reached the end of the road with this thing. And it's also the #1 reason why these older 4Runners are being taken off the road and thrown away. I'm going to show you exactly what it is, what to look for, and how to avoid it if you're in the market for buying a 4th gen 4Runner. You know, for its age and never being garaged, this thing still looks fantastic. And from behind the wheel, you'd think it was a 5-year-old car. You really would. It drives fantastic. But it also took 80 pages of receipts to make that happen. Now, some of the receipts, obvious stuff, 25 oil changes, for instance. Others, however, leave you scratching your head wondering, why did it take 18 oxygen sensors to keep this thing on the road? Now, there's also a myriad of other repairs and service and maintenance history on this thing, including 4 sets of front and rear brake rotors, 4 tire pressure sensors, 3 sets of front axles, both sides, 3 sets, 3 sets of tires, 3 sets of front and rear brake calipers that seize over time, 2 batteries, surprising only 2 in 18 years, 2 transmission reprogrammings because of a really lousy 1-2 upshift, 2 light bulbs, a wheel bearing, 1 mass airflow sensor, 1 rusty transcooler line, and that's a theme here I'm going to get further into, 1 rusty power steering line, 1 speed sensor, 1 set of front struts, 1 set of rear shocks, 1 serpentine belt, 1 trans fluid change, 1 brake fluid flush, and an idler pulley. And then there was 3 recalls that occurred with this vehicle over the 18 years that I've had it. The first was airbags. You know, everything got recalled for airbags at one point, so they put a new module in, not a big deal, out the door. Second was the throttle pedal didn't have enough clearance to the floor mat, and so they trimmed the throttle pedal, make sure there's no sticking issues, and again, simple, out the door, no problems. Thirdly, and this was the voluntary one, the dash pad. The dash had some cracking along the windshield, real minor. Honestly, I didn't even notice it until I took it in for an oil change. They saw it, they wanted to replace it. After a decade of ownership, they put a whole new dash pad in this thing. Again, it was Toyota's commitment to their customers, their reputation, and it's what they did. Now, all told, all the repairs, all the service work, and really 2 somewhat minor recalls on this thing, it's not a lot of effort, not a lot of maintenance, especially for a vehicle that is my daily driver every day, man. This thing has been a tried and true workhorse for me. That really didn't take much effort other than the O2 sensors. I'm stumped with those O2 sensors. But the real issue, the real problem why I'm done with this thing after 18 years, why I really think it could last another 18 years if I didn't live in the Northeast, is the rust. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. On the driver's side rear passenger door, right there, look at that dog leg. That is a very serious problem. Right now it's just cosmetics. It's not that big. It's very minor. You don't even see it with the door closed. But with the door open, man, it's starting to get ugly. Now, this isn't the worst thing in the world. Really, it's not that bad of a deal. The real problem, however, is on the other side of the vehicle, right down here underneath that. Look at that. Put my hand right in there. Frame rust. And how bad is it? How far does it go? But if you look at every single joint, every connector, every weld, the mounts, where does it stop? I mean, you just can't see inside there. You can't see underneath. You just don't know how bad it is. And that is the final blow on these vehicles. Now, it's not just the frames on these 4th gen 4Runners that you have to worry about. It's also the 3rd generation 4Runners, as well as the Tacomas. In fact, Toyota had a frame recall on the Tacomas, and they put whole new frames on those trucks for a limited period of time. And it's not just Toyota, it's Hyundai too, and it's all the other manufacturers as well. It's things you have to look at, things that you don't see. Looks like a nice, clean, presentable truck until you get underneath. And then that's where you get the real picture, the real problems, the real Achilles heel on these vehicles. So yeah, that frame is fairly minor and it can be patched. The dog leg can be scuffed and repainted and treated, and that can be patched, and that's fairly minor. The O2 sensors, again, fairly minor, frustrating as always though. But where does it stop? When does the frame rot stop? When do I stop dumping more money into it? When do I stop buying replacements for the frozen brake calipers? When is enough? And I've reached that point. While this thing still has some value, it's off to the market. It's off to the Mannheim auctions in Lancaster. So if you're out there shopping for a 4Runner, don't buy this one and save yourself a hassle. Take a moment, look underneath at that frame, at the seams, at the welds, make sure it's not rotted, and be a wise consumer if you're out there shopping for one of these Toyota products. Otherwise, I'm done. This thing is heading out there. I'm going to get whatever money I can for it now and just walk away and put that money into something else. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed you spending a little bit of time with me. Merry Christmas to you, and I will see you on the next video.